film lovers, we're back, and as always, we're
Off the cuff.
This brand new and exciting podcast takes you deeper inside the wonderful world of GCUFF, also known as the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival, where we celebrate Black film, life, and culture. To better connect you with what GCUFF is doing throughout the year, we're going off the cuff to bring you behind the lens interviews such as these. I'm Felicia Haney, here with
Juan Goodwin.
And today we're speaking with illustrator and filmmaker Brian Badgette. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. I appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm good. Just excited for the film festival, and I'm excited to see all the different creators and what they've been up to.
Good. So you are the first filmmaker we're speaking with who's actually from Cleveland and is here living in Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, and you're a first time GCUFFer.
I am.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's
that.
interesting.
So how is it? How does that feel? Is this exciting for you?
I'm super excited. I've showed Lucidity in a few web series, festivals and film festivals, but I'm mainly excited to share it with Cleveland, because so much of Lucidity's heart is there's certain frames of Lucidity that's based off Cleveland. You may see Terminal Tower in the background, so I'm just excited for people to check that out. And I can't wait to share it with the homeland. Plus, at the famous Lakeshore 7, so that's that's an honor in itself. So,
Home base for you, huh?
Home base. Best nachos, a movie nachos in Cleveland.
Overrated, but moving on.
Allegedly.
So you spoke about being a Clevelander and that being woven through the film. What's something that the world don't know about Cleveland that you like to share, and then some of the backdrops that's a part of the film that's in Cleveland? What's one of the best kept secrets you would say, Brian?
Man, the talent. Cleveland is full of amazing, talented people, from artists to producers to cinematographers to dancers. I mean, and I haven't went all around the world and but I've been enough places. I've been enough places where I haven't seen anything that makes me be like, man, I wish Cleveland had people like that. It's a talent, man. It's a talent.
Great answer. I love it.
Yeah. Talent and culture.
Yeah.
And I was off the cuff. You didn't even prep him for that one.
Nope, didn't even prep him. He's the natural, you guys. So I want to jump back into, because you said the film that we are speaking of is Lucidity.
Mm-hmm.
And it is is it an 8-minute short? I want to say it's 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes short. It's actually it's the 5th episode of Lucidity's first season. But it's also the best well-rounded one, I think, and it's a whole story in itself. So you don't need to see the first 4 to understand what's going on. But it's an 8-minute episode.
So before we dig into what it's about, is this a true story?
No, not really. I mean, it's loosely based on me and my interests. But it's fictional. It's a comic book series, but it's interesting because the power that my character has, you can actually do in real life, and that's lucid dreaming. And lucid dreaming is the ability to know you're dreaming while you're having a dream. So,
isn't that a song? Who made a song, Lucid Dreams?
The guy, the one that passed away.
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So young
R.I.P.
Young people stuff.
Yeah, it is, but it's actually it's a bop. I actually feel it.
Yeah, it grew on me a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to ask you a little bit more about it, because you described this as what? It's not just animation. You had a word or some specific way you described the film.
It's more like a comic book animated motion graphic series.
Yes, so, motion graphic. That was the word I was looking for.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how how does that develop? So just for a little bit of transparency and some context, I do happen to know Brian outside of GCUF. That is not why he got in. He's very talented, very talented individual.
Allegedly.
Who, made it in on his own merits. But I do know him outside of GCUF. And one of my first encounters with his work was at your wedding. And at his wedding, he did a comic book for the wedding. So like instead of just like this program, you had this comic book that was about him and his wife's story and how it was just like super cool. And I just loved it. Fell in love with it. So I knew you from that world, from being an illustrator, doing the comic books, that thing. So when you were like, hey, I have a film, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Didn't even know that this whole other world existed. So tell us a little bit how you came into filmmaking and has that always played a part with the drawing, the illustrating, or was that something that you found later?
Since I saw the first movie I remember seeing was Roger Rabbit when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Rabbit. And if you think about it, that blended film with animation at that moment. So my first introduction with film was through that movie and movies like The Mask. And I always just had a love for cinematography and how to tell a story visually. And then that developed into me wanting to know how you do story development, what's character growth, how do these things make a whole story. But when I was younger, I found out that to make movies they need to do storyboards. And storyboards are initially comic books for the movie. They're less detailed, but they are comic books for the movie. And once I found out about that, I just studied. Like since I was like 5 years old, I just always studied movies, and I would try to. I used to do this thing where I would watch a movie like X-Men or Spider-Man when I was younger, or Batman, and I would try to draw the movie out in a comic book format. And,
wow.
Yeah. So it was like you can look at my comic and the script will be in the word bubble. So all you need to do is just listen to the movie and watch the comic book, and it works together. But it's only got like 5 minutes into the film. I was like, this is 2 hours long. So
that's why this film is only 8 minutes.
That's why this is the 8-minute version.
Yeah, exactly.
To do that, but he just had stick figures. It was legit.
Hey, you're not lying though. Detroit Travis, I'm a terrible artist. No. So Brian, I full transparency, I don't watch cartoons, I don't read comic books, I don't do any of that. So when I was starting to watch your project, I'm like, a comic book film, right? Like, I really got to do this, right? So as I put it on, it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. It was very easy. It was realistic.
Thank you.
Not to give the film away, but as we were watching it, my 8-year-old daughter was in the background. And when it ended, she gave me the whole concept of the movie and the message and everything. And just to put it out there, like as a 37-year-old with an 8-year-old daughter, it was an easy read, so to speak, for both of us. Like, so it was able.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah. 47.
If I'm 47, you're 80. So
all the shit is out there.
I didn't even know she was watching it, and I think it was kind of loud where I was at, so she came down to be nosy, and then she saw what it was, and then she posted up, and then as the credits was running, she was like, "Oh, that was cool! Like, use your superpower, whatever you think you can do, you can do it."
I love it.
So that was good to know, and anybody that watch it will be excited and motivated and inspired. So
you out here inspiring folks. Okay,
that's the goal. That is the goal.
But I'm still not watching another comic book unless it's for work. I mean, reading another.
Well, you can.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, hopefully you watch the next one whenever that comes out.
Yours, because it'll be for work, but I'll watch it. But I won't just
get it, right?
Absolutely. Well, just to piggyback off of that, I read in your bio, it says As I grow as an artist, I hope that my projects inspire others to create with passion and honesty. So that kind of is your goal, to have that kind of and not only just the inspiration part, but have others do these projects like you're doing, or in their own way, whatever that looks like. But you saying create with passion and honesty. Could you speak a little bit more about that and why you chose those specific words?
As far as creating with passion and honesty,
Yes.
well, as far as the passion part, you know, if you're a creator out there, you can be a creator of music or whatever. If you're not doing it with passion, then why are you doing it? Really? I think anything that you are going to give to the world and express to the world, it should be done with passion, because I think a lot of the times when people can see when you care and everything, like how the 8-year-old daughter, she can tell like some passion was into it, and you never know, maybe it can inspire her to maybe get into comics, who knows, or another person or kid who watches it. But they only get that inspiration out. You only get that inspiration in people when you do it with passion. So and then just being honest about it it's just being real. You can't fake passion. You can't fake sincerity. And I think as artists, it is our obligation to kind of stand naked in the front of not physically and everything, but like
Maxwell did it.
D'Angelo
did it, but
now you're showing your age. I told y'all he was 47. But anyway.
When you wanted the fly girls in the living color, all right.
But yeah, back, just be honest about your work. It ties in with passion. People can detect that, and gotta be ready.
So what was your inspiration for this particular project? Where did the idea come from? I know you said it wasn't necessarily based on a true story, but where did you get this idea? And it was like, hey, I'm going to do a motion graphic picture
web series.
Yeah.
Lucidity, I'm 34 now, and I've been working on Lucidity since I was actually like 16 years old.
Wow.
I've always, of course, been in the comic books and stuff like that. And when The Matrix came out in '99, I was like obsessed with that movie, and my father was obsessed with that movie too, right? And because I love the philosophical stuff that it has to talk about, and it's one of the greatest action movies ever made. And I told my dad one day, I was like, man, I wish I could fly around like Neo and like Superman and stuff. And he's like, well, you kind of can. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, it's this thing called lucid dreaming. And once again, lucid dreaming is being aware that you're dreaming while you're in the dream, which means you really know that you're asleep right now, and everything around you, if you practice it, can be manipulated. And you can fly around, and it feels just like how your reality feels. Because you don't know if you're dreaming or not when you're having a dream. It feels real. Mm-hmm. So imagine being in that space and being fully capable of knowing that I'm inside my mind right now. And
that only happened to me, Brian, when I was winning $1 million in my dream. Then I wake up and then I can't go back to the dream where you want
to go back to the dream.
Yeah. You know what? When somebody's standing there like, you still broke.
You late for your shift.
Your job is calling.
That happened to me too before. There we go. It's always the
money. I think that's happened to all of us.
Yeah, it's always I was about to go cash a check in the bank, and it was late. It was like
So what is your goal with this film? You mentioned that there are actually 4, I don't want to say prequels, but that come 4 other parts that come before this one. And does that mean that there's going to be more to come after this?
Oh, definitely. So this is more like the first season. When I thought of Lucidity, I always wanted it to be like an actual cartoon series. I kind of think of it as like a deeper old school. And I'm sorry if my answers be long-winded. I talk a lot. So
no worries.
But I always wanted Lucidity to be like, remind you of like a after school or Saturday morning type feel to it when you watch it, like, staying home from school and stuff. So it's going to be a long series, and like I said, this is the 5th episode, and there's a 6th episode that wraps up season 1, and I'm working on episode 7 right now. But yeah, I just thought it'd be a cool idea if you can have a character that is able to control his dreams and eventually control his reality. I just thought that would be a cool idea. So I made a character up, and years later, here we are.
Hey, but many would say that. I mean, this we're speaking about dreams, but what does the saying say? Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way. So
those are the same rules that apply within, my character's world in a lucid dream. Whatever you think of will happen, and so you have to learn how to control your thoughts. You got to learn how to, and eventually, he'll use that same training to control his thoughts in this real world, and it get all deep and stuff and esoteric and everything. But,
well, if that was your message, my 8-year-old picked it up because her 37-year-old dad missed it. So
children be picking up, man. Kids are they're not tied down to work and everything, man. So don't feel bad. That's what they do.
They don't have to $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll read you two comments really quickly that came from the feedback from your film. And so I'll read this one first, which will make sense now. What you're saying makes sense based off of the comment. So it says, I like the film and the concept, but it feels a little unfinished. Does he wake up and take his lessons with him, or is that implied? So it seems like it's leaving people wanting more. So now, I don't think this person knew, like, oh, there's 4 episodes before this. There is, more to come. So
yes, there is. Gotta stay tuned.
Yes. And the other comment says, I am not a comic. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start before that. I loved every minute. His use of American DC type comic storyboarding and execution is excellently done. I am not a comic artist, but I can relate to the artistry of drawing. This project couldn't be easily done without hard work by the artist's hand. I applaud all his efforts and his team to complete this beautiful narrative. So people are feeling lucidity. I just want to say that people are feeling it, and we want you guys to come out and see it so you can feel it as well. It is showing. I know it's in our in one of our shorts lineups. So usually the shorts are grouped together when they're shown during GCUFF. So you would come in as if you're watching like a feature film. So you plan on being in the theater for maybe 60 minutes, but you're going to see a group of small short films instead of one feature film during that time. So make sure you check our schedule and look for Lucidity by Brian Badgette, and check him out. So I'm sure you're going to be joining us, correct?
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't miss it.
Yes. So he will be hanging around, and you'll get a chance to come up, meet and greet, talk to him, tell him what you think about the film and all of that good stuff. But in the meantime, can you tell people where they can follow you and keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, so if you go to Instagram, my IG is Badgette13. That's BAD, like Michael Jackson bad. And then and Jet, JET13. And you'll find me on there as well. And there's other behind the scenes pictures of Lucidity and just other stuff I'll be drawing on the side and everything. So yeah, come find me.
Off the cuff, DC or Marvel?
Ooh. Marvel.
All right. Nope, stick to it. You can't. No explanation needed. Nope.
I said what I said.
Do you mean it? We don't know, but you said it.
I truly do. Yeah. DC stuff though. They got Superman, Batman, but Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters of all time. So it's Marvel over here. What about y'all?
I don't watch them. So you could have told me anything.
We're not the ones to ask.
That's like Bloods and Crips in the comic book world. You got to pick a side.
Blood or Crips on the comic book.
Not code switch with that at all.
You grew up. I know where you grew up at. So
Nice.
whatever.
Now, being from Cleveland, you mentioned that you were born and raised in Cleveland, and that at one point you lived in the 105 or the 105 in St. Clair area of Cleveland, which actually is where Superman was birthed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that ever played any part in your interest in comics. Did you ever go over and see the house and all that good stuff?
I did. I sure
Some
did.
people who lived in Cleveland like all their life have never even been over there and like know that exists.
I just found out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Right.
It's not as well known, and it's weird that we're not known for that that much. This is the Mac Daddy of all superheroes. It's the grandfather that started it all. But yeah, Jerry Schuster and I forget the other guy's name. They were two guys in Cleveland who made Superman. I think sometimes we don't recognize it because Metropolis, where Superman's from, looks nothing like Cleveland. It's made to New York and everything. So, but no, that always stood out to me when I was young. Always stood out.
That ties in with his initial answer. Cleveland, best kept secret is their talent.
It really is.
Superman was created here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have anything else that we have not yet asked you about that you would love to share with us? Anything you want the people to know?
I'm pretty good actually. I'm just happy that people are having positive reactions to it. A lot of hard work goes into it. It's not done just by me. It's paid for by me. But I draw it. I think of the story, and then I got a guy. Excuse my clear my throat, y'all. I got a guy who helps me out with my motion graphic, and it's a lot of love that goes into it. So I'm just happy that people are responding to it the way they have been. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I almost cut in and said, That was a little hip hop reference, so y'all didn't know, but on to clear my throat.
I thought that's where you're going for. Water. All
right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We definitely appreciate your time. We appreciate your talent, and thank you for putting it on display at GCUFF. So look for it. Our opening weekend, GCUFF starts September 15th. Opening weekend, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, we will be on Shaker Square. And come out, see us, see Brian, see his film Lucidity. And it's going to be a good time.
It is. It's going to be wonderful. I can't wait.
I believe it in my dream and my reality.
The dream, I see what you mean.
That's what the movie said.
Yeah. Right.
That's what the movie said.
Here.
I love it. You got to believe it. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Much respect, brother.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps another episode of Off the Cuff with Felicia Haney.
Juan Goin.
And we'll see you back here next time.